join Up to the Minute in progress.
It's excruciating, but truth is the key to reconciliation for Esme and Sarah on screen, and for Bosnia, which a decade later has acknowledged the crime of rape, but is still reluctant to face its victims. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, Sarajevo.
When work hurts, you need relief that fits the pain.
The Icy Hot Sleeve, joint-hugging relief that starts icy to dull the pain, then gets hot to relax it away. The Icy Hot Sleeve.
Hard-working relief that fits the pain.
When I wear black, I don't want flakes, but I do want healthy hair.
Then switch to Selsun Blue Salon.
So soft, so rich.
No flakes, no itch.
Maximum dandruff relief, rich with vitamins and moisturizers. Selsun Blue Salon. Never wear black without the blue.
Diamonds, the jewelry exchange, imports diamonds direct with the largest selection at the lowest price, guaranteed. Our diamonds are shown loose. Select your mounting from our latest styles. Your diamond is set while you watch. 1 carat solitaires for $5.99. 1 carat ISI diamonds for $2,900. And exotic D flawless and large fancies at low prices. Only the Jewelry Exchange gives you both a low price and a double value guarantee. Buy factory direct and save. The Jewelry Exchange with superstores nationwide or online at jewelryexchange.com.
When there's a big event, do people see gray or do they see you? When it's a big night out, does she see gray hair or does she see you? Do your customers see gray or do they see you? Just for Men stops gray hair from hiding who you are with 5-minute Target Gray technology. Easy. Let them see the real you. Stay in the game with Just for Men.
It's 40 past the hour. In his State of the Union address, President Bush faced skeptical lawmakers and some of the weakest approval ratings of his 6 years in office as he urged a rebellious Congress to give his new Iraq war plan a chance. CBS News political correspondent Gloria Borger is on Capitol Hill and joins us with more. Gloria, this was an unpopular president addressing a politically unfriendly Congress. How did he do?
Actually, I think he did pretty well. I think the Democrats behaved themselves. I think the response was a bit muted this evening, but he spent about half of his speech on domestic policy, the other half of his speech on the war in Iraq, defending the troop surge. And he did get applause on issues like immigration, on issues like energy policy. And these are areas in which, in fact, the Democrats and the Republicans might actually cut some deals. And I think the president really wants to do that, looking towards his legacy. But the most passionate part of his speech was really reserved, I think, for the war in Iraq. And he defended the troop surge. He talked about asking the American public just to give him a little bit more time to try and work this policy out. He said to the public, I know you disagree with me, but I listened to the generals, I listened to you, I spoke with members of Congress, but I still think this is the path towards victory.
Well, after listening to him ask for more time, do you think the president has a shot at changing members of Congress to support his new Iraq strategy?
No, I really don't. I think members of Congress have made up their minds. They know that this is a very unpopular war, and after all, they do have to get reelected. There are 21 Republicans up for reelection in 2008 in the Senate. But I think what he was trying to do, which many presidents do when they speak at a State of the Union, is talk over the heads of Congress directly to the American people. And what he was trying to say to the American people is, give me a chance. Understand that my motives are good here. Understand the high stakes in this ideological drama that's unfolding between the terrorists and the rest of the world and our country. And understand that I'm doing this to try and keep America safe. So give me a little bit more time.
Well, Gloria, as you mentioned, the president called for some significant changes in health insurance, energy conservation, and immigration. How do you think this new Congress will embrace his plans?
I think it's very hard to say right now. I think they're going to do what's in their own self-interest. And ironically, I think it's going to be in the self-interest interest to work with the Democrats. The Democrats want to work with the president because, after all, now they run the Congress and they have to get something done. I think the people who might be the outliers here are lots of the Republicans in Congress who want to win back the Congress. It's not in their interest to work with the Democrats. So you may, in fact, wind up with three parties here in Washington. You'll have the White House, you'll have the Democrats, and you'll have the Republicans.
All right, CBS News political correspondent Gloria Borger on Capitol Hill. Thank you.
Thanks.
So how likely are we to see cooperation between President Bush and the new Democratic-controlled Congress? Kostas Panagopoulos is Director of Elections and Campaign Management at Fordham University and joins us from our Washington bureau with some insight. Good morning.
Good morning, Maggie.
How effective do you think the president was Tuesday night?
Well, I think he did the best job that he could possibly do, considering that his approval rating is at 28%, not too far away from the lowest registered approval rating of 24%. You know, this is Bush is an embattled president facing a majority, Democratic majority in Congress right now. Under the circumstances, I think he was doing the best he could possibly do, but this was an uphill battle for the president.
Well, speaking of his dismal approval ratings, can he revive his troubled presidency?
Not really with the use of the State of the Union. Historically, presidential approval doesn't really shift much following a State of the Union speech. Certainly, as far as State of the Unions go, this one was a bit lackluster in that there really wasn't that much pizzazz in it. And so if the president and the White House was relying on this speech to give a big bounce to his approval ratings, I don't think they are going to really observe that.
What does the president have to do to get any of the policies we heard last night passed?
Well, the president has to work with a congressional majority of the opposition party. That's going to be tough for him to do. Certainly, Congress has their own agenda and their own priorities. He's going to have to learn to compromise with them, and only then might we be able to see some things passed and signed into law. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of gridlock over the next 2 years.
What do you think the presidential candidates for 2008, many of whom were in the House chamber, gained, if anything, from listening to the president's speech?
Well, I think they're in the process of staking out their positions on a variety of issues, including Iraq and other domestic policy issues. They need to distinguish themselves, differentiate themselves from the president's unpopular policies, and I think that they were probably sitting there in the chamber asking themselves what they feel, how they feel they should communicate their positions to the American people in a way that makes them effective representatives of the people's preferences.
Kostas, the president outlined his proposals to expand health insurance coverage and slash gasoline consumption by 20% in 10 years. But with so much focus on Iraq, is anyone really listening to his domestic agenda?
Well, I think certainly the domestic issues he highlighted were important issues. He probably would have been criticized had he neglected to mention some of them or offer solutions to them, or at least proposals for solutions. So I think on some level it was expected of him, and he certainly didn't miss the opportunity to do that. But this speech and this administration is really one that has to tackle the main issue facing the country right now, and that is Iraq. And so to some extent, all of these domestic issues were going to play second fiddle to the #1 issue in this country, and the #1 issue voters are thinking about and caring about in America, which is Iraq, and the strategies moving forward in that conflict.
Well, how will Iraq and the president's sagging poll numbers impact Republican candidates in the upcoming presidential campaign?
Well, certainly it's going to be a challenge for them, especially candidates like John McCain, who have aligned themselves with the president. We saw the effect of close connections to the White House in the 2006 elections, in which many Republicans paid the price at the polls for their support of George Bush's policies in Iraq. In many ways, the Iraq war is really George Bush's war, and I think it will continue to be George Bush's war in 2008. And candidates, especially Republican candidates, are going to have to deal with that on the campaign trail, but even Democratic candidates will have to deal with that. Certainly candidates will have to defend their position initially on the war, as well as how that position may have changed over time, and where they now stand with respect to how we should be moving forward in Iraq.
Well, how much time does the president have left to make a real difference before the spotlight shifts to the presidential campaign of 2008?
Well, in many ways, the spotlight has already shifted to the 2008 campaign. In some respects, it shifted on November 7th of this year. It certainly is well off. It's started sooner than any other presidential campaign, at least in modern American history. And I think that really the candidates are off and running, and that campaign is well underway. The president still has some time, a couple of years. It's a sort of a lame duck administration at this point, but there's still work that can be done, and I think if that the president is willing to compromise with the Democratic majority in Congress, we might see some legislation get through that's quite meaningful, including some of the things highlighted in this speech.
All right, Kostas Panagopoulos, Director of Elections and Campaign Management at Fordham University. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
For years, we've been taking you to places like this and showing you the heartbreak. The children whose only mistake was being born poor. 27,000 died last night. But thousands more lived because of sponsors who made a difference in their lives and sometimes actually saved them. We know you thought about it, put it on a nice to-do list, but somehow never got around to it. Even though the phone's right there and the call's free. Maybe it kind of gets lost in how busy you are. Maybe you're just taking your time. But Breder and his friends don't have till the 12th of never. They need you today. And you're not busy right this moment, so why not now? It's not the 80 cents a day, is it? Sponsoring a child, clean water, healthy food, a doctor to see, finally a school to go to. It's the best thing that can happen to 3 quarters and a nickel. And it's not like you feel bad after you do it. You'll feel great about sponsoring a kid every day you get up. And you don't have to worry about Christian Children's Fund. 80 cents of every dollar that comes in goes right out to help these children. So why not now? So why not now? Know what I think it is? I think you just forgot the number. So here it is. Christian Children's Fund is one of America's oldest and most trusted child sponsorship charities. For over 60 years, we're how people like you get together with children who need someone like you. So, why not now? Call now. We'll send you a picture of a child who needs you.
Coming up, what's more nerve-wracking than a knockdown drag-out with your partner? How do you get back on track? We'll show you how to reconnect after a fight and repair your relationship on The Early Show.
Shirley gets money off her bill every time she visits her doctor. You heard right.
I'd rather go to a clinic where they're going to give me a 10% discount versus one that's not.
You may be able to save too. Tonight, negotiating doctor discounts. We'll show you how when our series Prescription for Saving continues on the CBS Evening News with Katie Curran. CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
In his State of the Union address, President Bush acknowledged what he called the serious challenge of global climate change and discussed technologies that would lessen our dependence on oil. But he did not call for mandatory ceilings on the emission of greenhouse gases that cause global warming. And climatologists say that's not nearly enough to reverse or even halt the damage that's already underway. CBS's Byron Pitts reports.
New Orleans, Louisiana, where the Army Corps of Engineers is rebuilding a stronger levee system after the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. But scientists now see something more dangerous than seasonal hurricanes: global warming.
The sea level is rising worldwide, and that's going to have an immediate impact on New Orleans. And
Tulane University geoscientist Torbjorn Tornquist.
Global warming. It's all related to global warming. That's what's happening. We've seen that in the past century, sea level has been rising 4 times faster than in the preceding 1,000 years.
Why is this happening?
What you're looking at here is just a visualization of the sea ice cover.
Waleed Abdullati is a NASA career scientist and one of the Bush administration's top researchers on climate change.
The state of the world's ice is that it's changing, and predominantly in most parts of the world, it's shrinking.
One vivid example, these NASA satellite pictures of the North Pole ice cap in summer. Since 1979, it has shrunk more than 25%.
We could see an ice-free Arctic in the summer. That could happen in the next 40 to 60 years.
Places at risk for a sea level rise range from the San Francisco Bay Area to South Florida to the Chesapeake Bay. Abdelati studied a glacier in Greenland that lost nearly 5 miles in the last 6 years, and now it's flowing faster.
It doubled its speed, just enhancing the amount of ice that was flowing or flushing out into the fjord and later to the sea.
That melted ice in the North Atlantic means higher levels along the Gulf Coast.
Now we have to push harder than anybody else in the United States to reverse the problem of global warming, because we are facing that problem here first.
A scientific problem that now may be getting a political solution. Byron Pitts, CBS News, New Orleans.
On this morning's Health Watch, the pill may not be as effective as it used to be. The FDA says the birth control drugs used by more than 11 million American women today have twice the failure rate as those introduced in the 60s, dropping the effective rate from 99% to 98%. The reason? Drug makers have lowered the dose of hormones in the pills because of the higher health risks associated with those hormones.
These risks include cardiovascular problems, such as stroke, heart attack.
But even at an increased rate of 2 pregnancies per 100 women who have taken birth control pills for at least a year, today's pill is still considerably more effective than other forms of birth control like condoms. For every 100 women who rely on condoms per year, 14 will get pregnant. An advisory panel is meeting today to make recommendations to the FDA about changing contraceptive guidelines to reflect these lower hormone levels in the pill. Now a look at your Wednesday morning weather. Thick clouds are stretching from eastern Texas along the Gulf Coast and into the deep south, where rain is currently falling. Rain clouds are also scattered throughout the northeast as well as portions of the Midwest, while the west is looking nice and clear. Later today, west into the plains will be bathed in sunshine, while southern Texas, the immediate Gulf Coast, and most of Florida will be bathed in rain showers. The Midwest can expect a few light snow showers, while a good deal of lake effect snow can be expected just southeast of the Great Lakes.
Free? Free? You're giving it away free.
Hi, I'm Rob Graham, the president of Vital Basics, and I want to give you a bottle of Focus Factor, one of our best-selling supplements, absolutely free. Why would we give away a free bottle of Focus Factor? Because we know that if you try it, you'll buy it. Focus Factor contains nutrients that work with your natural brain chemistry to support focus, concentration, and memory.
Focus Factor is now available at Walgreens and CBS Pharmacy, but if you call now, you can try it free.
Simply call the number on the bottom of your screen and we'll send you a full-size bottle of Focus Factor, a $75 value, absolutely free. You simply provide $4.95 to help cover the cost of shipping.
They let you try it free? It must be good.
You know, I've been taking Focus Factor since we introduced it over 2.5 years ago, and I wouldn't work a day without it.
Buy it at Walgreens and CVS Pharmacy, or call now and try it free. Call 1-800-262-1762.
Sell your house today. Call 1-800-PAY-CASH. We buy from anyone, for any reason, in any condition. Repairs, estates, foreclosures, bankruptcies, divorce. Pay no commissions or fees. Call now. 1-800-PAY-CASH.
Monster Jam, brought to you by Vance Autobahns and Ford Trucks. Beware of monster trucks, including El Toro Loco and Grave Digger. Plus a record-setting Suez Spiral car jump attempt and more. And kids seats are still just $5. February 17th, Dolphin Stadium.
Tonight, a profiler goes too far.
She's running.
Now there's no turning back.
You killed someone.
What makes you say that?
You're here confessing your sins.
Criminal Minds. Then, imagine a company that creates alibis to cover your tracks for just about anything, even murder.
Absolute alibis cannot be used for illegal purposes.
Just immoral ones, huh?
And when you're this sexy, dying can be a real drag.
Our Jane Doe is heavier than she looks.
Better make that a John Doe. A new CSI New York tonight.
The Oscar nominations were announced Tuesday, and this year's acting nominees were the most diverse group ever for the Academy Awards. 5 of the 20 nominees are black, 2 are Hispanic, 1 is Asian, and in another major sea change in showbiz, Hollywood is facing a new challenge from movies that are made in China. CBS's Barry Peterson reports.
Don't look now, Hollywood, but this dragon would like a bite of America. Act 1 of China's movie-making story opens in Hongdian in southern China, where there are a dozen movie sets. It all started right here, when they built a replica of China's imperial city. But this being the movies, they borrowed a page from Hollywood, and they made the replica bigger than the real thing. Act 2 is a rags to riches story that any Hollywood director would die for. Xu Wenrong was a poor farmer who founded a company that makes everything from electronics to pharmaceuticals. He became a rich man, but he wanted something that would benefit his hometown. And in 10 years, his millions turned this once backward village into the filmmaking capital of the East. And his dream doesn't stop there. He expects this to become the movie capital of the world. Definitely even bigger than Hollywood, he told us. Actually, millions of Americans who saw the movie Hero saw scenes filmed here. And the Canadian-American miniseries Marco Polo just wrapped production. And how does he attract movie makers here? That's the plot twist. They can use the studio for free, says Mr. Xu. Free because the studio makes millions from tourists. They pay admission to visit the film lots for a chance to see how it's all done. And the profits mean movie makers can use the sets for no charge. And for local people, movie magic means making money. Zhang Shuye tended rice paddies until his fields were filled in with buildings. Now he's a $3 a day extra, a much better living for him and hundreds of others.
What's more fun, to be a rice farmer or to be in the movies?
Acting is better, he says. You get free food and clothes, and it's effortless. Time for the final act, what to call the place. Well, maybe those movie makers on the other side of the world have the right idea for the big, picture-perfect ending. Barry Peterson, CBS News, Hongdian, China.
And that ends our show for this half hour. Thanks for joining us. This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
Madam Speaker.
Now on CBS News Up to the Minute.
The President of the United States.
President Bush delivers his State of the Union message to a very skeptical Congress now controlled by the Democratic Party.
The situation in Iraq is dire. The stakes are high. There are no easy choices.
And the general chosen to command the war in Iraq gives a sober assessment to Congress.
Additional resources.
Good morning from CBS News headquarters in New York. This is Up to the Minute. I'm Meg Oliver. President Bush went before the Congress, the nation, and the world to deliver his State of the Union address amid plunging poll numbers and a new political reality that the opposition party controls both houses of Congress. The United States Senate, with the support of several key Republicans, opens debate today on resolutions opposing the president's escalation of the war in Iraq. Despite this, Mr. Bush waited until halfway through his speech to even mention Iraq. Instead, he focused on the spirit of bipartisanship.
And tonight I have the high privilege and distinct honor of my own as the first president to begin the State of the Union message with these words: Madam Speaker.
Hoping to enlist the Democrats, the president said he wants to balance the budget, eliminate earmarks, and rescue Social Security and Medicare. The president proposed tax breaks to help the uninsured buy health insurance. Mr. Bush called again for immigration reform and greater use of alternative fuels. Then he got to Iraq after linking it to the global war on terror.
Every one of us wishes this war were over and won. Yet it would not be like us to leave our promises unkept, our friends abandoned, and our own security at risk. Ladies and gentlemen, on this day, at this hour, it is still within our power to shape the outcome of this battle, Let us find our resolve and turn events toward victory.
But in their response, the Democratic Party dismissed the president's new strategy.
The president took us into this war recklessly. He disregarded warnings from the National Security Advisor during the first Gulf War, the Chief of Staff of the Army, 2 former commanding generals of Central Command whose jurisdiction includes Iraq, the Director of Operations on the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and many, many others with great integrity and long experience in national security affairs. We are now, as a nation, held hostage to the predictable and predicted disarray that has followed.
CBS News Chief White House correspondent Jim Axelrod joins us from the White House with more on the speech. Jim, the president appeared to be reaching out to both sides of the aisle, even Republicans who do not support the new surge of U.S. troops into Iraq, by saying whatever way you voted, you did not vote for failure. Do you think he won back any support last night?
Well, I'm not so sure the president's objective was to win support as much as not to lose any more support. You know, there are, at last count, 5, maybe 6 Republican senators who are on record now as being against the president's troop surge. So perhaps what the president was trying to do was just to keep whatever support he has right now and not lose any more when it comes to the way forward in Iraq.
There was a lot of focus on domestic issues. Do you think there is any sense of momentum on issues like immigration, healthcare, and education that might give Mr. Bush something to sign by year's end?
Well, you could see, especially immigration, primarily because the Congress that he's dealing with now, the Democratic Congress, is actually a Congress that has probably more support or sees things closer to the way the president does when it comes to immigration and having a comprehensive plan. In other words, not only enforcement, but having some kind of guest worker program. Ironically, the president may end up getting his immigration bill not with a Republican Congress, but with a Democratic Congress.
It took him 20 minutes to even mention the Iraq war. At first, he stressed the threat of terrorism. Do you think that was an effective strategy, considering there are so many people against his new strategy to send over more troops?
Well, he certainly wasn't going to win over anybody with what he was saying tonight, primarily because he was just sort of recasting ideas that he spent the entire last campaign leading up to the midterms talking about extensively. So I'm not sure the president was, he knows that Iraq is not a big winner for him. He knows not only that America is quite skeptical, 66% opposing his troop plan, according to the last CBS News poll, but more important, he knows that it's an issue that on Capitol Hill he is running into a great deal of opposition with. So really his best hope was to talk domestic first, try to make a couple of bold proposals in the words of his aides, and then do the best he could with Iraq following that.
All right, CBS News Chief White House correspondent Jim Axelrod, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The president's choice to command the war in Iraq provided new ammunition to critics of the conflict. During his confirmation hearing, Lieutenant General David Petraeus told the Senate Armed Services Committee that the situation in Iraq is dire, but that the president's troop buildup could help.
None of this will be rapid. In fact, the way ahead will be neither quick nor easy, and there undoubtedly will be tough days. We face a determined, adaptable, barbaric enemy. He will try to wait us out. In fact, any such endeavor is a test of wills, and there are no guarantees.
General Petraeus is expected to win Senate confirmation. In other Washington news, the perjury trial of Vice President Dick Cheney's longtime Chief of Staff, Louis Scooter Libby, is getting ugly. CBS's Gloria Borger reports.
Libby is accused of lying to the FBI and a grand jury investigating the leak of a covert CIA agent's name, Valerie Plame. Libby's lawyers presented a new defense, telling the jury that he was just a scapegoat for a White House under intense pressure in 2003 to defend the war in Iraq and win the midterm elections. Scooter Libby was to be sacrificed, his lawyers said, while Karl Rove, who has not been indicted, was saved because he's the president's top political advisor. Rove, he said, was most responsible for seeing the Republican Party stayed in office. He had to be protected. Libby was so upset that he went directly to the vice president to complain. They're trying to set me up. They want me to be the sacrificial lamb, Libby's attorney recounted to the jury. The vice president clearly agreed, and his personal notes show it. Not going to protect one staffer and sacrifice the guy that was asked to stick his neck in the meat grinder. This was no ordinary staff fight. Libby and Rove were at the center of a White House defending its case for invading Iraq. The rationale for war, the presence of weapons of mass destruction, had been publicly attacked by Plame's husband, Joe Wilson. The implication was someone was lying about justification for going to war, the special counsel told jurors. The defendant took note. The vice president took note. Cheney apparently directed Libby to defend the administration to the press, which he did. And the government is charging that he lied about his conversations with reporters. All of this could be embarrassing to the administration, especially when the vice president is called to testify under oath. Gloria Borger, CBS News, Washington.
441 is under construction, so Monarch Dodge is having a super sale. Save $6,000 in rebates, plus price cuts and 0% financing for 72 months. Now at Monarch Dodge. Get there today. Family Caravan, now only $12,341. Big Bad Ram 1500 on sale, just $13,941. High Style Caliber, yours today, only $14,941. At the Monarch Dodge, 441 is under construction super sale. Hurry, save thousands. Monarch Dodge on 441 between Oakland Park and Sunrise Boulevards. Try it.
Still frustrated by your lower back or neck pain? An astonishing new DVD exposes why most doctors have no idea what to do when their patients suffer with lower back and neck pain. They try drugs and other ineffective treatments, hoping that someday the pain will go away, but it never does. Don't take another pill or even consider surgery until you get your free copy of the DVD that can change the way you can live life without back or neck pain. Call the toll-free 24-hour recorded message now at 800-245-0956.
ThermoSpa's custom designs hot tubs for therapy, along with entertainment, and today has engineered a revolutionary swim spa called the Spa Trainer, large enough to accommodate 12 adults. A powerful current allows you to swim endlessly, while the other side provides the ultimate hot tub experience. In the Spa Trainer, you control the intensity, and best of all, it's self-contained, so it's ready to use the day we deliver it. Call to receive a free DVD and a 48-page brochure to learn all about ThermoSpa's luxurious hot tubs and swim spas. Call now and we'll include free delivery, a $450 value, free chemicals, a $150 value, and a $400 cash coupon. This $1,000 offer is free, with no obligation, and is valid for 1 year. Call 1-800-683-4545. ThermoSpas, luxurious hot tubs made affordable.
It's 10 past the hour. President Bush is asking Congress and the nation for more time to give his new plan in Iraq a chance to work. In his sixth State of the Union address last night, he's first to a democratically controlled Congress. Mr. Bush reiterated his plan to send 21,000 more troops to Iraq and said it is still possible to turn toward victory.
This is not the fight we entered in Iraq, but it is the fight we are in. Every one of us wishes this war were over and won. Yet it would not be like us to leave our promises unkept, our friends abandoned, and our own security at risk.
CBS News Chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer watched the speech from our position near Capitol Hill and joins us with some insight. Bob, how does this State of the Union address compare to the previous speeches given to Congress by the president?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good speech. I tell you what I would compare it with, and that is the speech that the president gave 2 weeks ago when he outlined his war policy. I thought he did a much better job tonight than he did then. At one point during that speech, he seemed to be just sort of trying to get it over with. Maybe that's a result of he made that speech in a room by himself looking into a television camera. Tonight, or during the State of the Union speech, of course, he was speaking to a room full of people, and I think you always tend to do a better speech when you can connect with somebody out there in front of you. But having said that, he tried to lay out a defense of his war policy. The president knows that the Congress, starting tomorrow, is going to start voting on resolutions that say it is the sense of Congress that we do not agree with the president's decision to enlarge the troop levels in Iraq. I'm not sure he convinced many people in that room to change their minds about his policy. He may have convinced some people out in the country, but be that as it may, I thought he did a better job tonight than he did the other day.
He has the lowest approval rating to date. He doesn't have to run again, but can the president ignore this level of public criticism?
No, I think it's going to be very difficult for him. I mean, the question is, you know, will there be a bipartisan spirit? Will the Congress reach out to the president? This is Washington, and people who have the power usually try to take advantage of it. So this will be a very skeptical Congress. They will question this president on everything he tries to do. We've got a presidential election coming in 2008. You've got, what, half the members of the Senate and who have already said they're candidates. This is going to be a very political year. I think the president does have a chance on immigration, perhaps to get some kind of legislation. For one reason, his views on immigration, which include some sort of a guest worker policy, are much more in line with what a lot of Democrats favor than some in his own party. I think he has a chance there, but it's going to be tough sledding on all the other stuff.
Well, Bob, how much time does he really have left to make a difference in his presidency?
Well, I'm not sure his time is not already run out. I mean, it basically comes down to this, Meg. The president has taken a very isolated and lonely position on Iraq. Even many of the Republicans in the Senate, even the ones who are not ready to speak out against his policy, do not like this plan to send more troops. They'll remain silent and sort of bite their lip. But there just is not very much support for that. So it's going to be tough for this president.
The Democrats chose Senator James Webb from Virginia to give the Democratic response for obvious reasons. He has a personal stake in Iraq. How do you think he did?
Oh, I thought he made a kind of an old-fashioned political speech. He was very calm in his voice, but you know, you could almost hear the old populist refrains of William Jennings Bryan talking about the rich getting richer and the middle class disappearing. He very populist in his approach on the economy, and frankly, there's no other way to put it. On the president's Iraq policy, he really ripped him. He said, you know, that the president went recklessly into this war, that he had a bad plan, that he had asked all this sacrifice from our military, but they could expect a good judgment and a good plan from the president, and they didn't get it. So the Democrats wanted to make sure that the president didn't really change the subject. They want to keep the focus on Iraq because they feel it's Mr. Bush's war, and they feel that he ought to take the blame for it.
All right. CBS News Chief Washington Correspondent Bob Schieffer, thank you so much.
You bet.
And we'll be right back.
How about Uncle Joe? Seems strange not seeing him here. I miss him. I miss his jokes here.
How's Aunt Stella doing since Uncle Joe died?
Pretty fair, I'd say. You know, Uncle Joe had one of those Colonial Penn life insurance policies.
You have life insurance?
I sure do. Honey, it costs as much to bury a woman as it does a man.
I don't think I could afford it.
We got insurance from Colonial Penn at an affordable rate.
Hard to get?
No, you just pick up the phone and call.
She's right. If you're 50 to 85, write down the toll-free number on your screen and call about guaranteed acceptance life insurance from Colonial Penn. Colonial Penn makes it easy. It costs just $7.95 a month per unit, about 25 cents a day. There's no medical exam, no health questions, guaranteed. You can't be turned down. For added peace of mind, Colonial Penn also guarantees your rate will never go up and your benefit will never go down due to age. Guaranteed. Since 1994, over 5 million people have called about this affordable coverage. Call for free information and a free gift.
Call 1-800-596-8600 to receive free information in the mail. You'll get this handy guide to Social Security absolutely free. Call 1-800-596-8600. That number again is 1-800-596-8600 or visit our website at colonialpenn.com.
Tell her how your love has grown with the Journey pendant for $89. The Jewelry Exchange imports diamonds direct from site holders and manufactures jewelry using the latest technology. Compare the top chain store's 91-point platinum band for $4,100 with the Jewelry Exchange's 1 carat for $1,390. 2-carat Tunnel of Love bracelets are $399, 3-stone $139, and 1-carat studs $399. The Jewelry Exchange guarantees their jewelry to appraise for double. Buy factory direct and save. The Jewelry Exchange with superstores nationwide.
Shirley gets money off her bill every time she visits her doctor. You heard right.
I'd rather go to a clinic where they're going to give me a 10% discount versus one that's not.
You may be able to save too. Tonight, negotiating doctor discounts. We'll show you how when our series Prescription for Saving continues on the CBS Evening News with Katie Curran.
Coming up, what's more nerve-wracking than a knockdown drag-out with your partner? How do you get back on track? We'll show you how to reconnect after a fight and repair your relationship on The Early Show.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.
In overseas trading, Japan's benchmark Nikkei index closed up almost 99 points to finish at 17,507. Alexis Christophorus has more in this morning's CBS News Money Watch.
Oil is in the spotlight today on word the government will double the size of the nation's strategic petroleum reserve over the next 2 decades. The reserves are held to make up for disruptions in global oil supplies. The news sent crude oil surging 5% back above $55 a barrel. Keep your eye on ethanol producers as well today. And Tuesday night's State of the Union speech, President Bush proposed a massive switch to renewable fuels such as ethanol and biodiesel. And Yahoo is a stock you'll want to watch. The internet search engine suffered a 61% drop in profits last quarter. It blames that drop on delays in its newest internet advertising software and costs related to employee stock options. On Wall Street, bargain hunters went to work following Monday's sell-off. The Dow climbed 56 points. The Nasdaq was nearly flat. And the earnings parade marches on today with reports due out from eBay, Netflix, and ConocoPhillips. MySpace is teaming up with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The popular social networking site says it will now send out Amber Alerts to notify members about children missing in their communities. The online alerts will include photos of the missing children and descriptions of any suspects. That's your Money Watch. Click on CBSNews.com for more. In New York, I'm Alexis Christophorus.
Parents these days often share this same feeling of dread when they open their mailboxes or check their email, and there it is, the birthday party invitation. Older parents or people without children might not understand. Today's kids' birthday parties are a far cry from the cake and ice cream affairs of yesteryear, and it's forcing the kind of high-price pressure once reserved only for weddings. CBS's Sandra Hughes explains.
This may be Hollywood's version of birthday party madness.
Having a birthday in the house.
What the is going on around here? But it's not too far from reality. Kids today are celebrating their birthdays like little kings and queens.
We've had everything from, major carnivals to, parties for 10-year-olds with butlers.
Los Angeles children's party planner Julia Rabago says the one-upsmanship is usually to impress the parents. How high do some of these budgets get?
10,000 easily.
It usually revolves around a theme.
They were rock stars for the day, and we got to dress them up as rock stars, and they got to go in a limo as a rock star.
And how old were those
stars
kids?
For the day. They were 6. Yeah, 5 or 6.
If it all sounds a bit outrageous, just think of where it could lead. MTV profiles spoiled brats who have the ultimate 16th birthday party, usually involving some kind of fabulous car as a gift.
My dad gets me everything that I want. Your dad, I love you, but I'm the princess and I deserved it.
If this makes you shudder, think again before you plan that next pony party.
I hope this is the best dang birthday you ever had.
You may be saddling yourself to years of birthday party madness. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Speaking of over-the-top parties, Hollywood is already preparing for its annual blowout next month, the 79th Annual Academy Awards. Dreamgirls is leading the field with 8 nominations, but it didn't get the nod for Best Picture or Best Director, leaving the field wide open. CBS's Terry Okita reports.
Dreams were dashed when Dreamgirls failed to make the cut for Best Picture, but its 2 supporting roles, played by Eddie Murphy and Jennifer Hudson, got Oscar nods.
Relax, why are you so stressed?
No worries for Babel, with 7 nominations, including Best Picture. Also in the running, the World War II drama Letters from Iwo Jima, the road trip comedy Little Miss Sunshine, The Royal Chronicle of the Queen, and the mob movie The Departed, for which 6-time Best Director nominee Martin Scorsese may finally win an Oscar.
They are jealous of me.
The Last King of Scotland's Forrest Whitaker is the frontrunner for Best Actor, a field which includes Leonardo DiCaprio, Ryan Gosling, 8-time nominee Peter O'Toole, and Will Smith. A king and a queen are favored to win. Oscar watchers say Helen Mirren's portrayal of Queen Elizabeth is spot on. Also in the Best Actress field, Volvaire's Penelope Cruz, Judi Dench in Notes on a Scandal, Little Children's Kate Winslet, and 14-time nominee Meryl Streep for The Devil Wears Prada.
Everybody wants this.
Joining Eddie Murphy for Best Supporting Actor, Alan Arkin, Jackie Earle Haley, Jaimin Honshu, and Mark Wahlberg. And Best Supporting Actress nods go to Hudson, Babel's Adriana Barraza and Rinko Kikuchi, Notes on a Scandal's Kate Blanchett, and 10-year-old Abigail Breslin.
I don't want to be a loser.
With Dreamgirls out of contention, there's no consensus on who'll take home the hardware for Best Picture, making this year's awards that much more exciting. Terry Okita, CBS News, Hollywood.
Now a look at your Wednesday morning weather. Thick clouds are stretching from eastern Texas along the Gulf Coast and into the deep south where rain is currently falling. Rain clouds are also scattered throughout the Northeast as well as portions of the Midwest, while the West is looking nice and clear. Later today, west into the plains will be bathed in sunshine, while southern Texas, the immediate Gulf Coast, and most of Florida will also see some rain showers. The Midwest can expect a few light snow showers, while a good deal of lake effect snow can be expected just southeast of the Great Lakes. In sports, the Denver Nuggets used their 1-2 punch to beat back the Supersonics. Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony proved to be an unstoppable combination. Iverson, who scored his 20,000th career point, shot 21 on the night. Anthony added 34 points. The pair managed to keep Denver ahead despite a 44-point performance from Seattle's Ray Allen to win it 117-112. In Florida, there was some magic on the court, but it wasn't coming from Orlando. The Mavericks were in town and just dominated the Magic, maintaining a double-digit lead for much of the game. Dirk Nowitzki notched his 26th double-double for the season. The Mavs beat the Magic 111-95. And in Washington, it was win number 14 in a row for the steaming hot Phoenix Suns. Steve Nash led the way with 27 points and 14 assists for the Suns. It took a while for Wizards star Gilbert Arenas to get going on his way toward 31 points. By the time he found it, the game was over. The Suns beat the Wizards 127-105.
And the follow is there from Marion.
It's 3 a.m., and you lay there, awake, again. You fell asleep, but you woke up too early, and now you'd like to go back to sleep, yet you can't. Again. If this sounds like you and you're at least 18, you may qualify to participate in a medication research study being conducted by Siegel Institute. Qualified participants may be provided study-related care, exams, and investigational medication, plus compensation for their time and effort. So if you're tired, please call 1-877-SIEGEL-88. 1-877-SIEGEL-88.
By overwhelming demand, the encore South Florida performance.
Remember those days hanging out at the Village Green?
One night only.
You know that only the good die young.
Finally, the wait is over. Billy Joel returns to the concert stage February 12th at American Airlines Arena. Hurry and get your tickets right now at LiveNation.com, Ticketmaster, and by phone. Billy Joel, the encore South Florida performance, produced by Live Nation.
Right here on our next show.
She's not my little girl anymore. She just doesn't get it.
Is your daughter dressing too sexy for her age?
It's the mother-daughter eternal battle, the battle of the hemline.
Well, we've got teen fashions mothers and daughters can agree on. Naughty alert, One Tree Hill's Chad Michael Murray is spicing up our kitchen.
Who does the cooking in your house?
The dogs, you,
delivery guys.
And one of my top kitchen tips.
It brings the flavor to life.
Rachel Ray, today at 3 on CBS 4.
All new. What 5 words describe your marriage? Real couples come forward.
So I hear you told our producers
They argue about every little thing every day.
No, that's hard to say on national television.
This marriage seems picture perfect, but wait.
I'm not satisfied by that answer.
Uncover what's really behind the boredom, the frustration, the fights.
That's why so many marriages fail.
Begin to create a relationship with real meaning right now. Next Oprah.
Today at 4 on CBS 4.
One of the main focal points of President Bush's State of the Union address was the war in Iraq. More than 3,000 U.S. soldiers have been killed, but tens of thousands more Iraqi civilians have also lost their lives. In Eugene, Oregon, putting those huge numbers into stark reality is a display of more than 100,000 flags representing the total number of people, both soldiers and civilians, estimated to have been killed in this war. Jennifer Winters from our Eugene, Oregon affiliate KVAL-TV has the story.
Like tiny white tombstones, thousands and thousands of flags blanket a football-size expansive lawn on the University of Oregon.
Just stunned.
Teacher Ev Marcel took her high school class to campus for an impromptu field trip.
And I had been to the Vietnam Memorial in D.C., and I wanted to bring them here to see this.
The 3,000 red flags for every American soldier and more than 100,000 white flags, one for every 6 Iraqi soldiers and civilians killed, left the students shocked.
Disbelief. I didn't believe that this many people had died.
Campus groups raised money to bring the display to campus. It first appeared at the University of Colorado last fall. The goal? To educate.
You can dissociate and become apathetic to, but then when you see it actually in front of you and then people showing you there are names to these statistics, then it brings a personal stake.
U of O organizers have managed to raise enough money to buy another 20 to 30,000 of these white flags. The eventual goal is to have enough so that there is one flag per death.
I didn't actually know what the statistics were, and I'm pretty amazed at the huge difference between how many American soldiers and how many Iraqis have died.
But the flags took Iraq veteran and U of O student Justin Carney by surprise.
At what point does the free speech, alienate somebody else?
He says signs saying there are 150 student soldiers on campus feels like an attack.
It just seemed to me like, I didn't get a fair shot. You don't know me as an individual, or to stereotype me or typecast me in any way is kind of wrong. So
organizers are considering removing the sign, but say the message remains the same.
We want to honor. This is a memorial. This is nothing more than that.
Jennifer Winters of KVAL-TV reporting from Eugene, Oregon. And we thank you for joining us this half hour. This is CBS News Up to the Minute.
CBS News. See it now, anytime, anywhere.